Amigas. I'm so excited to chat with you.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh my
Thank you for
gosh.
having me. I'm a fan of the pod.
Oh, thank you so much.
So excited.
Dude, there aren't a lot of Latina podcasts.
I know.
And that is crazy.
Yeah.
It is 2024.
Yes.
There needs to be more.
Yeah.
Latinas, if you're listening, go start a podcast.
Everyone start one. It's the best way to chisme with your friends.
It really is. We got the chisme for you. We got the wine.
Yes.
We got the Chismosa wine. Shout out
Chismosa.
to Andrea. This is my amiga Andrea, who is a natural wine enthusiast. And I'm so excited to hear about your story. You collaborate. You made this wine.
Yes. So
yes, crazy.
This wine was a collaboration wine with my friends, the wine producers Wonderwerk. They're a duo based in LA and they make their wines in Central California. They've been friends of mine since the beginning of my wine content career. Yeah.
Okay.
We met online. Well, I had been already like a fan of their wines.
Yeah.
And I posted a wine of theirs that went viral. So then they reached out to me and they were like, what the heck? Like, let's hang out.
Yeah.
And yeah. So we became friends and I love them so much. They're like really talented and just like really, I think, experimental in the way that they approach wine and winemaking.
Yeah.
And so they asked me last year, well, in 2021, if I wanted to collaborate on a wine with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year in 2022, we released our first vintage together, which was Como la Flor. And yes, it's a beautiful name, beautiful wine.
Love it.
It was a red wine that we infused with rose geranium. And it was amazing. It was a hit. And then so this year, we released our second vintage of that one. So 2022 vintage. And for those who don't know, in wine, like the vintage year is the year that the grapes were harvested.
Okay,
but then
I didn't know that. I was going to ask.
Usually, most wines, not all, but most wines are usually released like a year or more later. Mm-hmm. And so this wine came out in 2023, but it's the 2022 vintage because those grapes were harvested in 2022.
Got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited for you to educate us all. I don't know if you know this. I love natural wine. I'm now in my 30s and that's literally all that my body can handle. I cannot handle hard liquor or things like that. Mm-hmm. And we actually have a local wine bar, I think only one in the area, that's called Semi-Tropic, which I would actually love to take you to someday. But I've just been on a natural wine kick. So for those who don't know, can you explain like what natural wine is?
Oh, yes. My favorite question.
Also, wait, I think we should cheers real quick before we get into it. I'm so excited to try this. Cheers. Okay. I just spilled on my pants. That is so good. This is so good.
So this wine, Chismosa, is from our second vintage. Well, this is the first vintage, I guess, second round of our collaboration together. But it is a sparkling rosé, or like it kind of hovers between like a light red and a rosé. It's a blend of a couple different grapes. One of them is a skin fermented, so orange wine, Pinot Gris with a Gewürztraminer and Montepulciano, and then also infused with a little bit of rose.
Do you want to try some, AJ? It's really good. You should try some. Hold on. This is so like actually.
It's got some fizz. It's
so good. I'm like coughing. No, it's so good. Wow. I like the bubbles.
Yeah, it's very sparkly.
This is like a good like fall and summer wine, I feel like. And spring, kind of a year-round wine.
Yeah. I can definitely see it like porch vibes, hanging out, sunset.
Yeah.
But then also like a cozy fall moment, but like where it's not super cold yet, still kind of like hot.
Yeah.
It's like California.
Yeah.
So we don't really have fall. But and
good job.
Thank you.
This is so bomb. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really honored and excited about the collaboration just because I was able to do like I did all the like I guess like concept and like branding and promo and like that's where I led. Obviously like they make the wine and I don't make wine. I would like to one day, but they make the wine and then they gave me like basically freedom to create the label and like the concepts and the names and all that stuff. So that was really, really fun and really exciting. I got to flex my creative direction muscle a little bit. Yeah. But
I love the branding. So, okay. I think I started following you. I found you because actually through Wonderwerk, I was looking for local natural winemakers in the area for an art show that I hosted last year in Costa Mesa. And I really wanted a natural winemaker involved in the show, whether they were sponsoring it or even as like one of like the artists. Because I'm like, there's art in everything, whether you're a photographer, an artist, or a painter, or a natural winemaker.
Totally. Art or wine is very much an art form in so many ways. But it's also a science. I will say it's definitely a science.
Yeah.
But
so I found you through them. I had reached out to them, didn't hear back from them in time for the art show, but we're like, okay, like I'll remember this for next time. And then I think right after that, you had hosted an event with them, and I remember you had wine bottles and like a lowrider or something. Like,
was it Buns and Vino?
Maybe it was that. Yeah,
was it Buns and Vino? So you're thinking of Género Neutral.
Okay.
And so they are a shop on Sunset in Echo Park.
Okay.
It's two friends, Ash and Jenny. They are like amazing. I love them so much. They're really good friends of mine. And they have this really amazing concept store, and they host a lot of events. And Ash, that's her car. So then they fill it up with ice, and then they put like drinks. Whenever they have an event, they'll just put whatever drinks in there.
It was such a vibe. It was so, when you posted that, I think it was like a TikTok. I was like, shut up. I need to be best friends with this girl. Like, this is so sick. So good job with like all the creating. I feel like we're kind of in similar jobs. Like, I feel like, I mean, I do content creation, but I'm also diving into like events and collaborations, and they're so fun. Like, it's just so cool to get like community together and like to think of all these like fun little details and touches to like add to things. So you're killing it.
Thank you.
I was in awe. And even like the Spain reel that you just posted with wine, I was like, shut up, this girl's so cool.
Thank you.
So yeah, so if you could explain to any listeners who might not know what natural wine is.
Yes.
What is it?
So natural wine is the philosophy around a specific style of winemaking. And so basically that philosophy is that there is very intentional care put into the vineyard, meaning like no synthetic chemicals, really being conscious of the land, the way we're like tilling the land and basically producing the grapes. And then once those grapes that are carefully grown and taken care of are picked, they are then taken to the winery, where there is also very minimal intervention in the winemaking process. For me, it's a philosophy, and it's also a spectrum.
Yeah.
There are, right now, I think natural wine is very popular, partially because of like this, like, I think there's like a really big like food and beverage movement happening in society, but also I think we're more in tuned to like being a little bit more holistic and careful with the things that we put into our body. And so I think there's multiple reasons why natural wine is popular, but I think all those things kind of combine and meet at the intersection here. And so, so natural wine is essentially just wines that are made very intentionally using minimal intervention, meaning that once they're in the winery, there's not really any chemicals that go into it. There's not a lot of manipulation in terms, and this is getting like more technical, but like in winemaking, it's a very, very technical thing, especially when you get into like larger volumes. You really have to be careful with like growth of bacteria, the yeast that you use, temperature. Like there's just like all these things that people don't think about if they're just consuming it and not making it.
Right.
But in natural wine, they try to limit that as much as possible.
Yeah.
So letting the wine just sort of create itself and not adding anything to it. And the goal in natural wine is that the wine is the truest form and expression of the terroir, which is like the land that the grapes were grown on, and where the wine was produced. It's kind of like the truest expression of that. And so if you do that really well, you can just taste like the uniqueness of the grapes from that region. You might have like, for example, a Sauvignon Blanc from this region and a Sauvignon Blanc from that region, right? Like two separate regions, same grape. They can taste very, very, very different because of the region and also the methods that the winemaker uses. So you could have like two very distinct bottles that almost don't even intersect or taste like at all alike, but that's because of the terroir and because of the winemaker's methods.
Got it.
So anyway, this is a really long way of saying that natural wine is minimal to low intervention winemaking. And it's an intentional process.
I love it.
That being said, there is like a lot of, in the wine world and in the natural wine world, there's also like a lot of divide between what a natural wine is, because there's no technically there's no real definition to what a natural wine is. So like you can kind of call anything natural wine.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a universal set of standards that most natural wine people follow or believe in. But then like if you really want to get into it, some people are like, oh, like you can't add any sulfur. Some natural winemakers do add a little bit of sulfur, which is like helps kind of like preserve the wine over time, and it has like other purposes. But some people are really diehard and like you can't add any at all, and some are like you can add a little bit, and some are like you can add a lot.
So there's like a wide spectrum.
Yeah, there's a big spectrum. I am personally like I am cool with a little bit of sulfur. I don't mind. I think that like obviously I have a personal limit that I would prefer to consume in a bottle of wine, but I think that like natural wine should be a spectrum, and there's like a lot of really cool things that you can do. It doesn't have to be so dogmatic and like black and white.
Right.
So yeah, that's a long answer of what natural wine is.
Thank you for educating me. All I know is that natural wine, first off, gets you drunk way faster than normal wine would. At least for me.
Really? Oh, yeah. I think the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, someone actually told me that, but like they're not obviously a wine enthusiast like you, so maybe they're lying to me or they don't know what they're talking about.
No, I mean they could have had like a very like high. You can still get like a higher alcohol, like a higher ABV.
Yeah. In
like a natural wine.
Yeah.
Than others, but
okay. Yeah.
So like, whatever wine they were drinking probably just got them drunk.
Oh yeah. I like, but it's so good. And also I don't feel gross when I wake up, which is like such a huge difference.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But I just like the taste. I feel like I don't know if I'm just getting older. I also have a lot of like gut health related issues. So like I technically even I shouldn't be drinking alcohol, which I don't drink a lot of alcohol, but I really am such a sucker for natural wine.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because it doesn't leave me feeling gross. Like I don't feel like yucky after drinking it.
I will say though, if you drink enough natural wine, you can definitely still get hungover. But it's hard. Like I had to have like, well, there was like 5 people and we had like over 7 bottles of wine that night, like combined.
Oh my God.
It was a lot.
Wait, 5 people?
Yeah, between 5 of
and
us.
7 bottles.
Yeah, that's like not. That's like that's like average for like a wine night party at like our place.
That. That's so fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. But yeah, I woke up like feeling like shit for sure. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But for example, I can share a bottle of wine with my fiance at dinner on like a Wednesday, and I can go to bed knowing I'm not going to wake up feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And I think that is because a lot of conventional wines, like wines we might find at grocery stores that are not natural wines, have a lot of added sugars and like chemicals and things like that.
I swear it's the sugar that like really messes me up. And that's why I can't do hard liquor anymore or anything, because I'm like, there's just like, I'm getting too old for this.
No, totally. I feel the same. Like I'm not really a big drinker. I love a good martini and I love, like a good cocktail or like a mezcal or something like that. But I don't go hard ever.
Yeah.
And if I go hard, it's because I'm drinking multiple bottles of wine.
Right. Yeah, for
but
sure.
I always, I'm the same. Like especially as I get older, I'm just like, I'm good. Like I want to wake up refreshed. I have shit to do.
Yeah. I'm an adult.
Yeah. I'm like, I cannot like be in bed until 3 p.m. anymore.
Oh my God. No way. So with the wine talk, how did you become a wine enthusiast? Like what's your story? What inspired you to like really get into it?
So my fiance is a chef.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a private chef. He's worked in restaurants for a very long time, and he worked in like a lot of like Michelin restaurants in LA. Well, a lot too, but
still, that's a lot.
But still, yeah, for a large part of his career. And then in 2020, he left the industry because obviously everything got shut down, and he was at home cooking all the time, and I was like, okay, I'm not cooking anymore because he's cooking like 3 meals a day for us.
Yeah.
Chef meals a day.
Love that.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I was like, okay, well, what can I bring? Like, what am I going to do? Because I'm like, it's COVID and I'm bored, or quarantine. And we had a wine shop next door, and I've always liked wine. Like I've always been into wine and enjoyed wine, and, drank wine, but didn't really know like what I was drinking. And I wasn't like deep diving the way I do now. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go to the wine shop and I'll pick up some stuff that will pair nicely with the meals that you're making. And we were doing elaborate stuff, like handmade pasta, handmade raviolis, like whatever. He was going all out because we had time that season. And so I just started exploring the wine shop a bit more, like more intentionally, and talking to the shopkeeper and being like, okay, we're making this or this sauce. What do you recommend?
Like what pairs well with what?
What pairs well, exactly. And then the shopkeeper would always like be like, oh, this is a biodynamic wine, or this is, you know, whatever. He was throwing out wine terms that I didn't know. And I was like, okay, go home. And I would be like typing on my computer, okay, what is biodynamic mean? What is, and also right before like in 2019, I had just moved back from Colombia to LA.
Wait, you were living in Colombia?
I lived in Colombia, yeah.
Oh my God,
my family's Colombian.
I was going to ask you where you are. Okay.
Yeah. Well, my dad's side of the family is Colombian. Okay. And so I was living there for like 5 years. And I had just moved back at like end of 2018, 2019. And in Colombia, like I was drinking a lot of wine, but I wasn't really like, I was drinking like grocery store wine basically. And wine is not really like a thing there. So anyway, coming back to LA and being in this like super foodie scene, and I would go to restaurants and like, we have an all natural wine list, or we have like natural wines this and that. And I was like, what the heck is a natural wine? I don't know. And so whatever. So that sort of like was happening while then quarantine happened. And so then I really was like, okay, like let me just research and find out more about these things. And it kind of just went from there. And I honestly was just like drinking a lot of wine on my roof with my neighbors and my fiance, and like would post bottle pictures on my Instagram, like just on my personal Instagram, with some notes for friends who wanted to like follow along. But I wasn't on TikTok. I wasn't doing anything like that. And then at the end of 2020, my friends were like, you should like post a TikTok, and I was like, ugh, I just don't need another app on my phone. I don't want to do this. And I've worked in social media for a long time. So I was just like really over it. I didn't want to deal with it. And then I was like, this is kind of fun. This is interesting, funny videos. I like this. And then I made like one wine review video at the end of 2020. And it was so bad. I look back at it and I'm like, this is so cringy, but whatever. I just was like, okay, people start like, it wasn't like an instant hit. People were like, oh, cool. Like, what's this wine? What's that wine? Yeah. And I just started doing it more and more. And then I had one wine go viral at like, I don't know, the end of 2020, early 2021. And then it just like the doors blew open for like people wanting to learn about natural wine on TikTok. And I think, I don't know, but I think I was like maybe like the first person like really talking. There was people talking about wine on TikTok. There's wine talk, right? But there wasn't really anyone at the time talking about natural wine specifically. And so I think I was like the first person to really like have a page that was dedicated to that, and really like showing wines that were accessible, that were fun, that were interesting, and then giving like a little bit of context behind them and like the terms that you might find in that wine world. And it just sort of went from there.
That's so crazy. All you have to do is just post.
Yeah, you really, just post. Even the worst video like me.
That's so cool. Okay, I was like so interested in your story because like, I wasn't sure since I found you, I think last summer. But that's really cool. Like I love that. And it's such I feel like for you, such a good and niche industry, because I don't know of any other like natural wine enthusiasts. I feel like people are still starting to hear like the term natural wine, or like getting to know like what that is.
For sure.
Do you find like, okay, so as a Latina being in the natural wine world, okay, two-parter question. Is it pretty like male dominated?
Yes.
Because I saw you posting some comments a few weeks ago about like the men saying things to you. And I was like, what the heck? I can't with them. So I wanted to hear about that experience, like as a woman and as a Latina being in the natural wine world. Like what has that been like?
Okay, well, I'll go back and then, I'll go start with Latina vibes.
Latina vibes.
I honestly have found such an amazing group of people. Like, I think being a Latina in wine is amazing, obviously, of course. I haven't encountered anything like I've never felt like it's been hard to be a Latina in wine, which I think is really special and really great. But part of that is because I think a lot of my followers are women. I have like a lot of like great like male followers. But I do like when I host events and I like when I'm having events and I see the people that are there, it's all like Black and brown women, ages 25 awesome. To like 35. Wow. And I fucking love that. And like that makes, I'm like, and they're people I don't know. Like it's not just my friends.
That's
you know, which
so
is like
cool.
really, really cool. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is resonating. And like that empowers me and hopefully empowers other people because it's like we are seen. There is a market, right? There are Latinas who want to learn more, whether they know a little bit or maybe they don't know anything at all or they know a lot, right? Like there is a community there, and I think that that's really important and really special, and I'm really, that's what I love, and like that's what keeps me going, like truly like that's what keeps me posting content even when I'm not getting any views, or even when I have dumb boys who are hating in the comments or whatever. It's like because I know that like I have an audience and like they're down and like we are a community together. And so that really,
that's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's really what drives me and motivates me. And I'm excited and so happy to see that like resonate with other women and everyone. Like it's not just women, it's everyone. But I will say that being a woman in general in wine is a tough space. Yeah, because it is a very specifically old white male industry. And even some people who maybe don't identify that way, they still make it hard for someone like me. And I think part of it is because I don't have any formal traditional wine education. Like I am not a sommelier. I like to describe myself as a non-som. Meaning like I'm not a sommelier. I'm just a girl who really likes wine and talks about it and is happy to share my knowledge with people. So yeah, I don't have any formal wine education, and I don't come from like a restaurant where I like learned my wine stuff from a restaurant or from a bar. And so I think I get some people give me flack for that, both men and women that are more like traditional in the wine world. And that sucks. And like I also, as a content creator, I see, and this is like no hate to like other creators, because I think everyone that I've met in the content creation world is really great. Yeah. But I definitely see more of brands reacting more towards like male creators than female creators in the wine space. Even female creators who have a larger audience than myself, like they're still not getting as many like gigs or jobs or recognition or alignment than maybe the dudes are. And I for sure see that, and I definitely notice it. But like you just got to keep going, I guess, and like go against the system. I don't know. It's been something I've like really thought about, especially in like the last 6 months of like just like, wow, like being a woman in wine is, I mean, it's always been hard, and people always talk about how hard it is, but like I think I'm also like, I'm lucky to, I guess like, I don't know what I'm trying to say is like, I'm lucky that I have not had any direct hostility towards me in some ways that I know other women have in the wine industry who are a little bit older than me, who have like more experience in wine. They have had to go through some like real shit, like very inappropriate stuff. Yeah. And I'm really lucky that I have not had to deal with that, but it exists in other forms. Yeah. And so, it's just been interesting to like kind of just be like, well, that's still a thing for sure. I mean, it's not a surprise, but yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, I'm glad that nothing crazy has happened, but it's still so frustrating to get comments like that. And I even feel that to a degree, because I'm a film photographer and content creator, and I feel like even film photography is still so heavily like male dominated. Let alone like there aren't a lot of Latinas out there. I'm sure a lot of them are shooting film, but a lot of them aren't being like represented or being like praised for like their work or anything. So I think it's like really cool. Like that's why I think hosting events is so important and necessary, because it gives people
a chance to like come in person, obviously celebrate that with you, getting to know people, network, relate to them. Like there's just like so much beauty in like relating with other people.
Yeah, and like building that community for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's so cool what you're doing. And now I'm like, should we host an event together?
Yes, like, we should. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
I hosted a Latina event back in, I guess 2 years ago, back in 2022, and it was really cool. Like exactly what you're describing, just a lot of women coming who are Latinas or want to support in some way, and I'm like, this is so cool. Like this was not a thing like even 5 years ago, you know, which is so crazy to me.
I know it's really just like, I mean, 5 years ago, maybe I wasn't in this like space, really. I wasn't in wine, but like it's just, I don't know, it's just cool to see that like there are women doing just like really amazing things, and there's a lot of overlap. Like you're doing photography, I'm doing wine, but like we can come together over this like shared experience and like cultural connection, but also like our perspectives in that culture are so different, right? Like you have a way different experience than I have, than someone else might have, but like we can all like unite together and do cool shit all the time. I love that.
I love it. It's so like literally like my goal with networking is like I never want to come off or like be that person that's like, I just want to like use everyone and like get connections. But I'm like, I genuinely think it's so cool to like bring our gifts and talents together and like use that to create something even bigger together, you know, like it's just really, really cool.
Yeah. And I think that like, you know, community more than anything is so important, and people, there's just so much that can happen when you do actively try to build or be a part of different communities, you know? And like I just think that like we're all better together in a lot of ways,
for sure.
I still believe in like, you know, I like being in my own lane a lot of times, and like I'm a very independent person, and like I think I have like a lot of like individualist type of like ideals in some things, but I also know when like community is needed and important, and it's like not all about you, or it's not just you can ask for help, you can, you know, be a part of something that isn't just like you. I don't know.
That's so sick. Talk to me about like this collab. Like how did it come to be? What inspired the collab that you did with Wonderwerk?
So Wonderwerk, so we had been friends for probably like 2 years at this point, or like a year. And
so bomb. In our communion cups too. I love it. They're pretty vibey though. I'm into it.
They're cute.
I sometimes, this is like, I don't know how you feel about this, but sometimes I drink wine out of like a coffee mug or like a regular.
I drink out of mason jars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my
is
God.
that okay?
Yeah.
Am I still classy?
I mean, okay, so wait, sidetrack before I go to the collab.
Yes.
So I had posted, so there was like an account, and they posted like, it was like different types of wine glasses for every wine. And it was like, do you know what a bodega glass is? It's like a short, like little glass with no stem.
Yeah.
They were like, they put that glass for every single like wine style. And it was basically like, you can drink out of whatever glass you want. There's no like one way to do it. And I reshared it because I was like, fuck yes. Like this is exactly, you drink whatever you want. Like drink out of whatever glass you want to drink out of. And I had wine professionals in my DMs, very annoyed that I was promoting the wrong information, incorrect like drinking habits and tactics and whatever. And I was just like, look, like obviously there are correct glasses for specific types of wine. But the reality is, and definitely the reality for me and my audience, is that we don't have all those glasses / space to have all those glasses. Yeah. And I'm not opening like $100 bottles of wine. I'm opening like a $30 bottle of wine that like I'm just trying to like enjoy with my meal. It's a Wednesday or a Thursday.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. Exactly. It's not so serious. So I was just like, babe, listen, because they were like, they were really annoyed that I was putting it out there that people should, they were like, they're going to be ruining their wine. They're not going to get the full experience. I would never pour that. I'm like, but you're a sommelier working at a restaurant selling like $150 bottles of wine. If I'm ordering a $150 bottle of wine, yes, I don't want it in a bodega glass. I want it in its proper glass. But also if I'm at home drinking just a very cash bottle, like do whatever you want.
I did
meet
not
people
know
where
it
they're
was this
at.
crazy.
Yeah, you got to meet people.
Insane.
You have to meet people where they're at and like let them, like, if you only have a coffee mug that's clean, put it in a coffee mug.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're going to drink it out of the bottle otherwise.
Yeah.
So either way, whatever. Like,
And then also, I feel like you market yourself pretty well as, like, a content creator who likes to drink wine. Like, you're not saying, like, I'm this, like, professional wine drinker. And I also feel like with that mentality, like, it's not going to encourage anyone to, like, I don't know, to like try new things. Like with that kind of mentality, it's going to make people like shut down and like not want to pursue it anymore.
That was exactly my point, where I was like, you have to meet people where they're at, because this other person, like, they're kind of in content, but like they're more like professional, like working at a restaurant. And I was like, the average person is just like not going to have 3 different types of stemware in their cupboard. They probably don't even have space for it. And so like, like, don't make them feel like they don't know what they're doing, or they don't know what they're talking about. And that's always been my approach, because I also don't like being like told like you don't know what you're talking, like, of course that makes you feel bad, and you don't want to feel like that, especially with a thing like wine, where it's already so like elitist and so gatekept and just so hard for people to feel like they could be a part of it. So for me, my approach has always been like, this is how I drink it, and this is how, like, I'm always straight up. I'm like, I am not a sommelier. Purposely have not tried to get any of my certification or anything, because like you too can have this knowledge. Right. You can also learn these things, and I will share as much as I can with you, but also like I encourage you to do your own research and find the wines and the things and the styles and the wine glasses you like. Yeah. And that's it.
I love that.
Yeah. Just try to it's for fun.
It's for fun. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. It's not that serious. It's for the pics. It's for the vibes.
At the end of the day, it's literally grape juice. It's very serious grape juice, but at the end of the day, it is juice that we let go bad.
Yeah. And we enjoy it.
Yeah. And people have been drinking wine for thousands of years, and like nobody has like taken it this serious until like 50 years ago.
Crazy.
Yeah. So like, it's just is like, this was like, I love to throw this fun fact out, but beer and wine was back in like I don't know, 1500s or whatever. Beer and wine was like the main beverage of choice, because water was too dirty at the time. It was like filtered. It wasn't clean. So like,
back to water. I had this whole debate about unfiltered water and filtered water like
I saw
2
it.
episodes ago.
I saw it. And
the
restaurants are definitely serving tap water. It is not filtered.
Thank you.
It is not filtered.
I needed someone to confirm.
No,
it's confirmed by a chef.
Well, no, I'm not
Chef's
the
fiance.
Chef wife. Yeah. No, for sure. It's from the sink. That's why they say, do you want tap, bottled, or sparkling? I saw all that
the people that were like, anyways.
But I'm a rat girl too, so it's fine. I'm also a rat girl. Sometimes, not always.
Not always. So they didn't have unfiltered water back in the day. And,
no, they didn't have Britas.
They didn't have Britas
like that. They had dirty ass water with diseases. So they drank wine and mead and beer and like whatever other fermented things. And that's, so yeah, it was like just regular. It wasn't serious.
It wasn't
just
serious,
like,
guys.
It was just the thing they drank. It was water, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's so funny.
So don't take it so seriously. Just like what you like, enjoy explore. That's what I always say. Like, explore and experiment and find the wine styles that you like or don't like, and like don't feel pressure to like a certain kind of, like, if you don't like orange wine and everyone's drinking orange wine, who cares? So I don't like some orange wine. Some orange wines I'm like, this sucks. I don't want it. Others I'm like, this is amazing. But I like explored, and I was like, okay, I know I like these, and I know I don't like these. So
yeah. That's so cool. I love that. Just live your life, drink your wine, have fun.
Take it easy.
Not that deep.
Exactly.
Okay, wait. So tell us about your collabs real quick. The Chismosa, and which is what we're drinking right now, and Como la Flor.
Yeah. So they reached out to me. Wonderwerk reached out to me in 2021, early 2021. And they were like, hey, we're experimenting with this barrel of wine. We haven't done anything like this before. We only made a small barrel because we don't know like how it's going to go. Would you want to do a collab wine with us? And I was like, hell yes. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
And I was like still so new in like the wine. Like, we're also like, like I had like gone viral or whatever. Maybe like 4 months before that. So then like imagine all of a sudden they're like, do you want to do a wine? And I was like, this is my dream. And so it was kind of a long process, because the wine was like, still in barrel, and then we were like, okay, we had to figure out a lot of things. Like one of the things that we did was we added a rose geranium tincture to the wine. So these wines are technically aromatized wines, which is like basically a wine that has been blended with some form of botanical to give it a more aromatic, aromatized like quality. And so we harvested rose geranium from Riverside nearby from a farm that was friends with the Wonderwerk boys. And they turned that into a tincture, which is basically kind of like, just think of it as like a tea pretty much. And then we blended the tincture with the wine, but we had to do a bunch of trials, which is on my podcast. You can listen to our live trials.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention that. She has a podcast.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I also forget I have a podcast. So
that's why she's so professional, like walking in and just educating us all.
I'm familiar with the podcast life. But yeah, my podcast is on hiatus because I'm just reorganizing. But at the time I did like a live session with the Wonderwerk boys. We did 2 parts. One was an interview with them, and then the second was us working on like the measurements of tincture to wine and figuring out like what balance we wanted, which was a really cool fun experiment. It was very scientific.
I love that.
Yeah, it was cool.
Gosh.
It was
Girls
really cool.
in science. Yes.
Well, I'm not the scientist. Andy, the winemaker, is definitely the scientist, not me. He just showed me how to do it. But
you still did it though.
Yeah, I was there. I tasted all the wines. But it was really interesting because our first thought was like, do we want to do this with like an alcohol? Because that's also like a way that you could do it, is like basically doing like the tincture with alcohol and then blending it into the wine, or tincture with a wine, blending that and then blending that into the final wine. And we did the first trials like with alcohol, and it raised the alcohol content of the wine like so fast.
For this one specifically?
Not for this one, for Como la Flor, like like our first trial of like testing it to see how much we wanted to put. And we were all getting buzzed, and we were like, okay, we can't do this. We can't like do it with alcohol. So they figured out a way to do it with wine, which was like, they're geniuses. Like honestly, Wonderwerk is amazing. And like, I obviously don't know how to do that, but they figured out a way to like blend the rose geranium with the wine in a way that like won't get you super drunk. It's still like a very chill wine. It's not strong. So that happened. And then we were like, we already knew we wanted the name to be Como la Flor. I love Selena, of course. But it's also an ode to my grandma. She was my great grandma. She was the matriarch of our family, and she loved red wine. That was her, definitely her beverage of choice. And roses are also like a really big theme in our family. And so it just felt right to like have a rose on the label, Como la Flor, an ode to like Selena and like the culture, but also to my grandma. Yeah, and so it came from there.
So cool.
Yeah,
I love it. And all like the photos. I mean, I was telling you right before we started recording, I'm like, dude, all the photos you were taking, the way you like promoted that was so
thank you.
Beautiful.
So had 2 photographers for that. So the photos I did. I did like a promo video for the first one. So in 2022, I did a promo video with my 2 cousins, Brian and Brandon. They are photographers and creative directors, and they're just like so amazing. And they totally understood like the vision I was going for. So we created like 2 mini movies, and like trailers of sorts for the wine, which was like so amazing. And then I also had our friend Jen Edelson, who's a really incredible photographer as well. She helped shoot the like photos with me and the Wonderwerk boys. So we had like a bunch of content for that. Yeah. And then this year for Chismosa, I brought my cousin Brandon back to help me shoot like just like a really fun kind of like Y2K club rat. Back to rats.
We're the ratas.
Club rat kind of like vibe, which I loved. It was like all hot pink and stuff. It's on my Instagram. It was
so good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That was a really fun shoot. And I was like, I've never done anything like that. I've never like revealed that rata side of my life to the public.
I feel like Rata Girl is going to be a thing. Like,
for sure.
Let's like actually like, we're gonna tell all the Latinas in here or anyone to channel your inner Rata.
Yeah, be down with it. Yeah. Like, don't be afraid.
Drink your unfiltered water.
Drink your unfiltered water. Like, you might be hungover the next day. Whatever. Yeah. So I was really excited because I was like, I've never like shown that like vibe, I guess. My like whatever, my Instagram's, I don't know, wasn't that. And yeah, so we did it and it was cool. I liked it a lot.
So good. And it's such a fun way to just like be creative and like to try something new.
Exactly. I was like, when else am I gonna have like we had a backdrop, he has like a sick camera, a crazy lens. I was like, let's just like do something random and fun. And yeah, it was super fun.
It was I'm like so proud of you. Like that's even though I'm like getting to hear a story for like the actual first time right now. But it's so cool. It's very inspiring because it literally it just starts with like being interested in something and posting about that and like sharing that with the world, which I feel like a lot of people maybe want to do and don't have like the confidence or something to like go and pursue that. But like it's just cool. You never know what can happen from just sharing that one thing.
Truly, I could never imagine. I could not have imagined that like this would be my life, like from 2020 until now. I just can't believe it. And it's really this is just, we're gonna go deep for a second.
I love it. Let's go.
When I was in 2017, I was living in Colombia, but I spent a little bit of time living in New York. And I thought that I was gonna make the move to New York. And I had nothing. Like I literally had like $800 in my bank account, like total to survive. I had no job in New York. What the fuck? I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why my dad like let me do that. And then I found an apartment and I found a job. I gave myself a deadline. I was like, if I don't have a job by X day, I have to go back to LA or Colombia or somewhere. And I got the job like literally like the day before my deadline was that I gave myself, which was crazy. The job did not pay me a lot. It did not pay me anything. I was still starving, but it was it got me to like,
it got you started
sort of. And I just remember like back then, like I had the job. I was still so broke. Like literally my money just covered like my rent and my subway pass and like the dollar store and like maybe some Trader Joe's if I was lucky. And I remember just being like, oh my God, all I would do is like go to bed and like meditate and like dream of this life where I lived in this really cool loft and I would like wake up really early and I had a partner who really cared about me and was like really supportive, which at the time I didn't have. So I was like manifesting that. And I was like, and I'm just like doing cool work and like things that like I really like love and inspire me and like it's artistic or like cultural, but it's like doesn't mean that it's in art or, I don't know, like I just like had a vision. And then like the other thing was like I remember I lived next to Roberta's in New York in Brooklyn, and I would go there. I would get like if I had a little bit of extra money, I would go there and I would get the cheapest pizza that they had, which was like their cheese pizza was $16. Oh my gosh. And which was like
back in those times too. That was a lot.
It was like too much money for me to be spending on one item, and a glass of wine. And I didn't know at the time that they were natural wines, but they were.
Oh.
Yeah. So I would get a glass of wine and I would get my like really cheap little pizza and I would go sit there by myself and they have like this really cute like little picnic area in the back and I would just like sit there and whatever. And I would envision a new life that I was like gonna have and it was gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this summer, I mean, I've always like remembered that, like I know where I come from, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. But like this summer I went to Roberta's in Culver City after doing a wine event at Hilo where I had like curated wines and we had this like really great event and all these people came and it was just like really exciting. And afterwards I was like, oh, let's go to Roberta's to like get a bite to eat. And I was like sitting there and I was like, whoa, this is like literally the life I like was dreaming about. Yeah. And like I live in the loft. I have the partner.
Wow.
I'm doing the cool things like I wish I could have, like I wanted to do back then.
Yeah.
I could buy whatever I want.
More money in your account.
Literally. I was like, all these clothes I bought myself.
That's
like,
so cool.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God. And we're sitting at Roberta's and I was like, order whatever you want, Matt. Order a bottle, order 2 bottles, order all the pizzas.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm paying tonight.
Oh my gosh. That's so, I'm sure like, I mean, not that it was like younger, you weren't that much younger then, but still, I'm sure like younger you was like just tripping out like, wow, I made it. Like, this is everything that I was like working towards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like, just to be like, whoa, cool. Like, everything's going to be okay. Like, that's what
everything works out.
Yeah. Everything always works out. Like, it always figures itself out. It feels like it was a long time ago, but it really wasn't. It was like, that was 2017. I don't know what year we're in now, but like time goes really quickly and things can change really quickly. So yeah, so that was cool. That was like a cool kind of like full circle moment.
It's so beautiful to have.
Yeah, it was really
so sick.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Like, and now it's funny because now there's a whole set of other worries that I have that I'm like trying to be like, I'll never make it. I'll never be able to buy a house.
But then you think back to that, and
hopefully in 5 years things will, like,
yeah,
you're just, everything is like a jumping stone.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. And things are always changing. A lot happens in even just a year. Like, it's so crazy.
Totally.
Speaking of the future, do you have any current goals right now?
Oh, current goals.
I love talking about goals.
Yeah.
So, whether they're business or like personal, like anything.
Okay. Well, this is good. I'm putting this out there into the universe now.
Do it.
Well, last year I started a YouTube channel. I bought the camera, I did all the things, I was ready to go, and then like I made one video, and then I was like, that was hard.
That was a lot of work.
Don't want to do this anymore. And so. Yeah, so like I made it, like I started the YouTube, and I like did the first video, and then I went to Spain and I took my camera and I shot all kinds of content, and then I never edited any of it.
Oh my gosh.
I was like very slowly editing that first video, that the drinking wine in Mallorca one, that I was like, you know what? If I need to it's taking me 6 months. Like I need to just put this on the internet now. It's a 5-minute video. Why is it taking me 6 months to edit?
Editing videos is like a whole nother beast.
Yeah, and also you need the right computer. Like I have a MacBook Pro, but it lags with. I use a Premiere, so I don't know if I need like a better computer for it. But anyway, so my goal is to be more consistent. I have all the videos, and I just need to figure out the time to like properly just edit, put it out there, be consistent with like my YouTube, because I wanted to start the YouTube because I wanted a more creative outlet that didn't feel like the TikTok sort of just like rata race.
You said rat? My ears perk up. My tail.
Why is that the theme? I also low-key hate rats. Like in real life, I'm petrified of them, but like I love this rat.
They are pretty gross. They're pretty gross.
So gross. But I like love that we're like what is it? Humanizing them? No.
Yeah. They're kind of cute. Like, I'll send you the TikToks I've been seeing. They're like little Mexican ratas like dancing to cumbia. I'm like, this is what I want in life.
That's cute. Yeah, that's cute. But no, okay. I like that we're putting ratas in like a new light. Yeah. That it's like more like accepted and like hopefully not as scary.
Yes. Yeah.
Sketch. I really don't like. I had to do hypnotherapy because I was so petrified of critters, like mice and spiders.
Really? Oh shoot.
It kind of worked low key because I feel like I'm like, or maybe I just grew up, but like I was like, after my sessions I like went to this whole like yoga thing and everything, and like after my sessions they were like, or I was like, oh, like yeah, I guess like a spider's like not that bad. I just like won't get close to it. But
yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway,
that's so funny.
I digress. What were we talking about? Rats.
The ratas. The rata goals we have. No, your goal is to be
more consistent
with editing and posting
and like YouTube. Post regularly, and like today I'm supposed to be like vlogging just to practice because I need to I just don't know how to do it.
You can use
and
this.
I already forgot. Well, I was supposed to like film like on my way to the podcast and then like be here and be like, we're at the podcast, and I forgot all day today. I forgot.
That's so hard. Even sometimes I'm like, I'll do it. I ran into a friend who like does content creation like really well. She's like super well known on Instagram, and shout out to Shut the Kale Up. She's awesome. And she was telling me like, I love your get ready with me videos, or like a day in the life videos, she said. And I was like, I've only done 2, and that was like a lot of work to just be mindful of like, okay, recording. She's like, no, I feel like it's like so like soothing. I love watching them. And I'm like, should I do them more often? And the next thing I know, it's like 10 a.m. and I'm like, I missed my whole morning.
Exactly. Like, you already like made your coffee.
Yes.
You like did breakfast. Exactly. All the interesting things are like done. Now I'm just on my computer working.
Now that I'm like sitting down at a coffee shop, I'm like, this isn't interesting to like film though. But that's a good goal to have. Like, because I mean, your story simply started with you posting, so it'll be exciting to see like what comes from YouTube.
Totally. And I want it to just be like a more like creative, less pressure, at my own pace. Well, except my own pace will be every 6 months, but like like a little more just like, not like hyper trend like content. I want it to be, do you know her name's Orion, Carlota, Carlota.
On YouTube?
She's mostly on Instagram, and she's like an OG Instagrammer, and then she has a YouTube channel that has a lot of followers, but she posts like once every like 8 months or something. But I'll send you them. Her videos are such a vibe. Like she's goals. I saw her once at a coffee shop in downtown, and I was like, oh, she's my queen.
Oh my gosh,
she's so cool. That. Yeah, she's really cool. Anyway, I'm very inspired by her, like very like calm, simple. It's just like her art, you know?
Yeah, that's really cool.
She is a very like artistic, creative like director, so it works for her. I don't know if I'm as creative as her, but like like I just want it to be like a space like that. So yeah.
Dang, that's so exciting.
What are your goals?
Literally to do 10 pull-ups on assistant.
Whoa, like okay, I can't do one. So yeah, that's good.
I'm working on it. Just a few months ago, I was like trying to do 10 push-ups, and then I feel like I worked for a few months on them, and the next thing I know, I'm like busting them out, like correct form and everything.
Good,
so now I'm like, I'm a little gym rat, back to rat. Everything about my life is a rata, has a rata theme. But what are other goals? I would love to host an event, a market. So like with vendors and stuff. Because I just love, back to the community aspect, I just love bringing people together, sharing interest, all the things. So that was one of my New Year's goals, and I literally like had like a low-key meeting with someone today about hosting a market at like a local coffee shop, and I'm like,
it's manifesting. It's manifesting.
So, yeah. So I don't remember what my other goals were. I talked about it like 2 episodes ago, and I'm like, what are they? I need to like tape them on my mirror so that I like remember, but I'm also like, it's only January. Like I have so much time.
Totally.
But, you just
visualizing it.
Yes. And I like to like have reminders, see it out there. But you just gave me an idea. I'm going to try to do more day in the life, like mini vlogs, and I'm going to do Rata Girl edition. So they could see like my gym Rata in the morning, and then like me like scurrying to like drop my kids off at school. And then like, I'm like low key gross, like crusty and gross. Like I will drink unfiltered water. I don't know.
What are other Rata qualities? Let's think.
There's
unfiltered water,
cheese,
eating cheese.
I love that protein.
I love cheese. So yeah, it fits. What else? Small spaces. Just like being cozy into like little small spaces on the couch.
Literally that. I'll find some more qualities and I'll piece them together. But I'm like, a Rata Girl's gonna be a thing. It's
for sure.
Watch out, everyone.
Rat Girl Summer. Here we go. Rata Girl Verano.
Oh my god, I love that. Well, thank you so much for
thank you for having me.
Yes,
I had so much fun. I am such a fan of the podcast, so I'm like excited to be here.
I appreciate that so much. Like I have producers, so now it feels more legit. But before, when I was doing it, I was like, I'm just gonna do it for fun. No one's listening, but it's cool to hear people say they actually listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you listen to me talk. That's so cool.
But
but I appreciate it. I'm sure your story will be inspiring to anyone listening. Like it's just so cool.
I hope
that
I can inspire at least one person.
Yes. Yeah. Buy this
drink
wine.
Some wine.
Buy this wine. Yeah. It's so good.
The wine is sold out online.
Oh, love that. Okay, I love that for you.
It's sold out online, but we are working on having it. We're working on getting it into some stores in LA and surrounding areas. Okay. Hopefully, fingers crossed, out of state.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah, so that'll be coming in the next couple of months. We're just like working with like the distributor to make sure that everything's all good. Yeah. And then I also have some fun events coming up soon where the wine will be highlighted and showcased. So
oh my gosh, fun.
Follow along.
It's Mas Vino Please, which is such a clever name. I'm like, yes, I love it. And then your podcast as well is also Mas Vino Please, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm Mas Vino Please on Instagram and TikTok. And then my podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts is Mas Vino Please, the podcast.
Perfect.
And then I also have a newsletter on Substack, also called Mas Vino Please.
Yes.
So then the Substack is really fun because it's like every 2 weeks I'll post or I'll send out like a newsletter of just like wine recommendations. Sometimes it's like random wine thoughts maybe I had about something that's going on in the wine world. I always include like one wine term for people to take and learn, and then what I'm drinking and what I'm eating.
I love that.
Yeah, each week.
So fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you did this with me. Thank you so
thank
much.
you. I'm honored to be here.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed listening. Go support, follow along at Mas Vino Please. And
thank you.
Yeah, that is it. Bye, amigas.
Bye. Bye, amigas. Bye, ratas.
Bye, ratas.